So welcome back to the channel, guys. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe, like, leave a comment, and with that said, let's get straight to it. So we're gonna kind of do a review about this pen reel. It's Rival 15 LW. In my opinion, I think the LW stands for lightweight. So I've opened it up before. I'm just gonna show you guys what it looks like and what I think about it. So, let's get to that. We have the reel, we have hardware, tools, mount, and screws, and of course we have a manual, and this shows the inner compartments of the reel and so on. And this is for both the 15, the Rival 15 and the Rival 20. So I guess both of them have the same interior and exterior setup. So we're not gonna get too in-depth with that, so let's just set this aside and get straight to the reel. Like I said, hardware, a tool to take the reel apart, and mount and screws to brace it to your rod. But enough about that. So here we have it. We have the reel, and straight out of the box, I guess, but like I told you, I've opened it up before and there's a few things that I don't like about it. This is just my personal opinion. I'm not doing this to, you know, bring down the name of Penn or the company Penn. It's just my personal opinion on this Rival 15. And right out of the box, I can see that the drag, it is really loose, like super loose. It can go so loose that it won't even turn the spool. But enough about that. There's also some cool features that I found on this reel that I like. First and foremost, the bait clicker. This tiny knob right here to the left hand side, on, off. You're gonna put it in on, tighten the drag, tighten the loose drag, and away you go. It starts clicking. You can also have it in free spool and it will still click. But there's another cool feature about this. So here you can see I have it in free spool, and all I'm going to do is just turn the handle. It snaps right back into retrieve. So this has a automatic engage. You can do it manually, or you can just turn the handle over and it will just go to retrieve. So that's another cool feature about this. It also has a line leveler, which is another cool thing. So rather than you, some say this is like a startup, or if you're new to like deep sea fishing, you would want to use one with a line leveler. And the pros, they don't have line leveler. They just use their thumb and just, you know, set the line as you retrieve it on the spool, so it won't bund up in one area. But enough said about that. I also have another piece of fishing equipment that I want to add to this review, because you're gonna see these on my channel, you know, sometime in the future, because these are stuff that I'm gonna use to make new video while I'm out at sea or on the surf. So let me just set this aside and we get to the next object. Boom, there you have it. Fiblink Crazy Tornado. This is a 3-piece rod, heavy, Like when I say heavy, that is the grade of it. They have ultra light, light, you know, medium heavy. This is heavy, not extra heavy, but heavy. So, and it comes with this cool carry case. Let's open it up and see what's on the inside. So boom, we have 2 pieces, 3 pieces. So we're just gonna set the case aside, and here you have it. This is the first part of the Fiblink rod, and it feels good. Like, this is super comfortable in my opinion. It is super comfortable. It has this butt pad right here, aluminum, and it's really nice. Here again you have the centerpiece, or the second part, a bit flexible, not too flexible, but feels good. And here you have the very tip. I would put a picture right here or anywhere on the screen just to show you guys what the entire setup looks like. But here you can see we have the 3 pieces, 1, 2, 3, and this reel. So my thing is to use this reel with this combination so I can have like a travel size setup, if that makes any sense, because I like to take my bike and, you know, cycle to different fishing locations and fish. So let's see what this would look like on top of this. So we're just gonna screw it in here, and there's a second lock ring or lock nut. It kind of shapes like a washer, but it does the same locking mechanism stuff. And you can see everything kind of fits, you know, with the silver, black, and so on. So to me, it's a pretty sweet setup, right? So like I told you, I would add a picture so you guys can see the full setup of this. And in the future, you're definitely gonna see me using this, probably at a surf or at the bridge, because you guys know I like to fish at the bridge. So we're gonna probably use this at the bridge or at the surf, and we're gonna try and catch a big fish. Like when I say a big fish, we're gonna try and catch a big fish using this setup, right? And there's another cool, that's another cool, this right here, right? This gives you more, I think it goes in this direction, so it kind of gives like a little bit of protection for right here. And you just use this little screws and nuts to secure it to the rod. That way it is more stable and you don't have to worry about this breaking off. So it's a really cool setup in my opinion. And like I told you, the only problem I have with this reel is just to the fact that the drag, the star drag, it's so loose. Like you can just look at it, you can just spin it. And I'm gonna actually do something to prevent this from being that loose. So let me just use this tool and get this off. But first, let me take this off. And we set these aside. And this was the same tool that I was telling you guys earlier, right? So we're gonna use this and take off this section right here. But don't do like this, because you can see there's a little screw right across here. You gotta remove the screw first, right? So remove the screw. Set it, because you're gonna need it for later, so set it somewhere good. And then you're gonna use the biggest part and just anti-clockwise loose it. Righty tighty, lefty loosey in this case, and that just comes right up. And you can adjust this arm whether you want it long or short. So either way you're comfortable using it, you can. And there's a little right here, right? Just take that off. And I think I'm gonna do something else to this, so let me just get this right off. Okay, so here you can see these are the drag washers, stainless steel drag washers, and two smaller washers. And here you have the stainless steel drag washers. And just look at this, everything slides right out. But we're not gonna, go all the way down inside. But I actually want to do something to this. I like to add like lubricant, or some might say grease. So I like to add grease inside of my reel. That way I know it is protected against corrosion when you're at the soft. So let me just grab my grease and we'll be right back to this. Okay, so one moment. So here you have it. I have the grease, and this is like grease that you can, this is grease that I use on my pedal bike. So I use this to like grease the bearings and so on. So we're gonna take a little bit of this and we're gonna put it inside. So let me just set the remainder down. And this grease, we're gonna put it right inside here. You're gonna get it right on the inside. And then what you want to do now is fit this back in. Then put this on, I guess, and put this back on. Right, spin it, because there's a few grooves on the inside, so spin it, make sure it's back in the groove, and you're good to go. Now what you want to do now is place those washers back on. 1, 2. And so I have all the washers. Put the smaller ones back on too. And don't do like me, put one at a time. That way you would get it aligned properly. Alright, so 1, 2, then here goes the lever, or the star lever, and you just make sure it's on properly, and there you go, it's back on. So in the beginning you remove this, but I want to do something else before I put this back on, because the drag would still be loose. So I came up with a solution. We're going to use this O-ring, and this O-ring is going to create like a little tension, not much tension, but enough tension that this won't move freely. And then you add this, and back to this handle, right? And like I told you, you can either put it long or short. It's just two options, not many options. So I'm just gonna put it on the shaft. And then you're gonna take your screw and just try to get it back in there. My hands are a little bit slippery, so it's gonna be a bit challenging for me to get it in. Okay, this is really smooth. Okay. And once it's in your gun, okay, so now that is in, you're gonna take this same tool and you're gonna tighten this. Drag, and now look, you gotta take your time and just work it. And here you can see it's way better than it was, like 100 times better than it was to me. In my opinion, it's 100 times better. The drag is way better. So we're gonna tighten the drag all the way up, and we're gonna work this some more. So you ain't gotta do it super tight, but just do it enough that it is, you know, snug. And you're also gonna wanna align one of these back to the screw hole. That way when you put this screw back in, it would fit perfectly. And again, my hands are slippery, so excuse me for the, you know, the shakiness. Like I said, my hands are slippery from the grease. It is best to use a screwdriver, and it is best not to get grease on your fingers because it's really slippery. So let's just get part one. I'm creating problems. Alright, we're gonna get it in anyways, don't worry. Just set it nice, and you're gonna kind of like want to hold it in place just for the few threads to go in, right? So now that you got a few threads in, you can just take your time and work your way in. And again, this is the one that you actually want to tighten, in my opinion. Just, you ain't gotta over tighten it, just do it that it won't fall out. So let me take off the big click and free spool, and then you're gonna see automatic retrieve and tighten the drag, and there you have it. It's good to go. It's good to go. So guys, you can see from a free spinning star drag, here you can see it's a bit tighter than it was, and it's working great for me. So that was just my take on it, just this drag. Feel free to subscribe, and thanks for watching.